Hey loves, hey, how y'all doing today? Now, I hope y'all are enjoying this lovely day today. All right. We are going to be talking about the gateway to clarity, which is honesty. Yes. Okay. So, we're going to be talking about honesty, not the polite kind that most people don't think about, because most people don't lack motivation. They lack truth. And you can't fix what you won't face. Let's be honest with that. You cannot fix what you won't face, because honesty is uncomfortable, because it requires ownership. It requires you to be honest with yourself. So let that sit in. Just think about that for a second. Honesty really is not beating yourself up. It's really not. So if you think honesty is beating yourself up, it's not. Okay? It's not guilting yourself. It's self-awareness. It's definitely self-awareness. Okay, without all the extra excuses. It's telling yourself the truth about everything, you know, your effort, your discipline, your environment. Who are you allowing around you? What things are you allowing to constantly be in your way to distract you? What are your standards? What is your emotional patterns? Let's be honest about that. Most people think they need more clarity. In reality, no, you need to be more honest with yourself, not with Queen A. It's time to be honest with yourself. That's where clarity starts at. That's where true clarity starts at. And that's why a lot of people can't have it, because they can't be honest with themselves. All right. So I want y'all to understand that, because that's where clarity gonna start, where denial ends at, where people avoid honesty. Like, I'm confused. I'm confused. Nah, you ain't confused. Let me tell you this right now. You ain't confused. When people usually say that, that usually means I'm just avoiding a decision. Like, people, I'm confused. No, you ain't confused. You just avoiding the decision that you know you need to make. What decision is that? I don't know. Let me put my phone on silent, love. That'd be going out. But what decision is that? I don't know. Only you know what that is. But stop saying you confused and be honest with yourself of that you're not confused. You're just avoiding the decision that you know you need to make. See, let me tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all know, but I had a gun put to my head on 4 different occasions. 4 different occasions. And twice was by people that I thought loved me. Right? And I was so confused. That's what I kept telling myself. I was confused on why things just kept happening in the same way. Why I kept going through the same things. And that's what most of us do. We have a pattern that we go through, and we say we confused. But see, even me in that instance, like I said, I had a gun put to my head on 4 different occasions, 4, and twice by people I thought loved me. So I kept telling myself that I was confused, but really what it was I was avoiding certain decisions that I knew I needed to make. Certain decisions such as, well, maybe if I stop dating these type of guys, I'll stop having these type of things happen. Maybe if I stop, endorsing myself in certain environments, that I won't have certain things happen to me. You ever heard the saying that if you can't change the people around you, change the people around you? So some of y'all saying y'all confused, but no, you avoiding the decision. You need to change some things. And like I said, I had a gun put to my head on 4 separate occasions. And I thought I was confused. But when I woke up, I realized it was a pattern. It was a pattern. And I was avoiding certain decisions that I knew I needed to make. Yeah, you know that they say, why do good girls like bad guys? That was me, right? But I had to start switching myself up, put myself in different environments, put myself around different people. So I just want y'all to understand, that's what that usually means. So if that's you, right? And when people say, I'm overwhelmed, that was another one. That's a big one that people use. Is that you? Well, guess what? If you one of them people that's like, I'm overwhelmed don't mean nothing, but I haven't set boundaries. That's what that usually means. You overwhelmed because you ain't got no clarity on your boundaries. Matter of fact, a lot of y'all overwhelmed because you ain't saying no. You constantly saying yes. Yes to certain environments, yes to certain people, yes to certain things that you know, if you was being honest with yourself, that you need to let go. Let's get honest here. I'm just saying, let's get honest. All right. And also, so if you don't know, make sure before we go ahead. So if y'all liking this and y'all think somebody else, can use this right here, make sure that y'all share this with somebody else, like, and all that Gucci stuff. Okay. And also, I have a freebie giveaway as well. So if you make sure you stay around, stick around. I'm always giving away freebies. All right. So I want you to stop thinking you're overwhelmed when you're just simply not setting boundaries. Let's keep it real with yourself. See, this week we're gonna be honest. So some people gonna get mad, and that's fine. That's fine. That some people gonna get mad. But I want y'all to understand that that's what that means. So, so stop trying. That's why I took the trying word out my mouth, because when people say I'm trying, you know what they usually mean? I'm inconsistent. I'm inconsistent. Let me say that again. So if you one of the people that constantly saying you're trying, then that means you're constantly inconsistent, because you don't try when you're doing something. You do it. Let me say that again. You don't try when you're doing something, you do it. So when people say they're trying, that usually just means that I'm inconsistent. A lot of people ain't gonna want to hear that, but that's what it usually means. So stop trying and do it. Be consistent with what you're doing. I'm just saying, like I said, see, this week we gonna get honest. Honest, because like I said, most people, especially if you're a young entrepreneur or a new entrepreneur, you don't need more clarity. You need to be honest with yourself, honest with the things that you're allowing in your life, the people that you're allowing in your life, right? And the places that you're allowing yourself to be around. Let's get honest. I'm just saying. Because see, some of y'all sitting back and saying, I don't know. I don't know about this. Well, guess what? That usually just means I'm afraid of the outcome. Let me say that again. A lot of y'all, I don't know about this. I don't know about this move right here. I don't know if I should take that leap. I don't know if I should go ahead and apply for that job. I don't know if I should go ahead and start my own business. I don't know if I should leave these people alone. I don't know if I should let that environment go. I don't know if I should keep myself from around certain people. Well, guess what? That usually just means that you're afraid of the outcome of if you do it. Well, if I do let the people go, if I stop being in this place that I'm comfortable being around, what am I gonna feel like? If I do stop being around people that I know that I need to stop being around, what is that gonna be like? Am I gonna be comfortable? Am I gonna have fun? Am I still gonna be happy? Am I gonna be aggravated? Like, is people gonna still want to deal with me if I move this way? See, that's what I don't know usually means. Let me say that again. I don't know usually means I'm afraid of the outcome. So if you one of them people that keep telling yourself, I don't know about that. That just means you're afraid of the outcome. If I do it, what's gonna happen? If I do it, what's gonna happen? Right? So you gotta understand that. All right. Now we're gonna talk about the cost of avoiding honesty. All right. The cost of repeating the same cycles, the cost of blaming other people for your mistakes, because you don't want to be honest with yourself. So you're going to blame everybody else. Well, they keep calling me. If they wouldn't have called my phone, I wouldn't even been there. If they wouldn't have asked me to be there, I wouldn't even been there. you know what? If my cousin's birthday one today, I wouldn't have been. Well, guess what? If you be honest with yourself, if you learn how to say no, if you learned how to put standards up, if you knew how to say, well, I understand that, y'all going to have fun, but today I just can't do that. Y'all don't know how many times that I have to be honest with myself when I'm ready to do something else. You know how many nights I be ready, especially now within these last few months, I be ready to stay up because I was a late night. I was a late night person. I would stay up to like 1, 2, 3 in the a.m. watching documentaries. But then I had to get honest with myself because I kept blaming the TV, Tubi. I kept blaming, well, you know what? If these documentaries weren't so good, I wouldn't keep staying up. I'd be able to go to sleep. If I wouldn't but guess what? If I just turned the TV off, if I got honest with myself and told myself, well, it's bedtime, if I got honest with myself and say, well, do I want to wake up at 5 a.m. or do I want to stay asleep? Do I want to miss out on my blessings or do I want to wake up? Like, if I was honest with myself, do I want to stay up and watch these documentaries or do I want to make sure I go to sleep so I can get up and make sure that my business is going where it needs to go? Let me say that a lot of us keep blaming everybody else. Well, if I wouldn't have went through what I went through in the past, well, guess what? Everybody has a past. It ain't nobody that you can talk to today that don't have a past. See, it's crazy when we stop blaming everybody else. When we stop blaming everybody else, that's when things are totally different. When we stop blaming everybody else. A lot of us don't know how to stop blaming everybody else. So we keep, blaming our environment that we was raised in. If I wasn't raised in the hood, only if I knew better, well, guess what? You might have been raised in the hood, but you actually have so many, if you was honest with yourself, you can do research on how to get out the hood. But you have to take action. You can't just research. See, stop blaming everybody else. Well, if I just had enough money, well, if you was honest with yourself, well, then you would do things to make sure that you can have more money. And we talking about legally, okay? All right. So maybe you apply for another job. Maybe you create something. Maybe you get creative. Maybe, you apply for a different job. But there are things you can do. Maybe you got a degree so you can get a better job. But there are things you can do besides blaming and complaining. And that's what most of us do, especially new entrepreneurs. We blame and complain, right? Well, only if I had the opportunities that they had. Have you heard about the man? I don't know if y'all heard about Nick Vinovich. I can't ever say his name. But shout out to him. He was born with no arms and no legs. Yet this man gets up and he still inspires the world. This man actually got 4 kids, 3 or 4 kids, and a beautiful wife. And he was born with no legs and no arms. But you got people talking about, if only they was, they had a better, well, only if I was raised better or in a better environment. Well, only if I was raised and I had more money. Only if I had, guess what? This man didn't have no arms and no legs. Born with no arms and no legs. And now he's one of the top speakers in the world. And he has kids, youth. I don't like saying kids, but and he has youth and a beautiful wife. And you know what he be saying? How you gonna let a man with no arms and no legs outdo you? So I want you to understand that it's people out here that got it way worse than you. So stop staying in environments that don't match your future self. Let me say that again. Stop staying in environments that don't match your future self. See, a lot of y'all in environments that that don't align with your values. A lot of y'all in environments that that don't align with your principles. A lot of y'all in environments that that don't align with your goals, but you constantly stay there and wondering why you confused, wondering why there is no clarity there. But if you was honest with yourself, you would know why. You could understand, guess what? You know what? This environment ain't for me. I value respect, honesty, family, confidence. Over here, they value drama, disrespect, negativity. And this is where I keep going. But I keep expecting something different. All right. So y'all gotta understand that. So staying in environments that don't match your future self, guess what it does? It sabotages and disguises as confusion. It sabotages and disguises itself as confusion. When all along, it's just because you keep putting yourself in places that don't align with your values, your principles, and your goals. All right. Now, for those of y'all, if y'all just getting here, hey, how y'all doing? Drop it in the comments. Let me know where y'all watching from. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. I hope y'all are having a great day. I know we on a different time, so I'm usually on Sundays, beginning the week. But let me tell y'all. So let me get honest with this. Let me tell y'all about this story. So I was supposed to go live yesterday, but so if you don't know, if you ain't been watching my journey, let me let you know. So I've been working out, all right, working out and getting fit. I've been seeing a little something, something. But y'all probably can't see it, but it's there, okay? But so in the midst of me exercising yesterday, I end up like going above and beyond. I was already above average of where I'm supposed to be. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to go, like above. And I was doing tricep dips, and I did too many. I should have stayed on 38 for 3 sets, but I went up to 43 for 3 sets. And that first one I did, and then I had my feet and everything. Like I was just thinking I was on top of the world, being honest, doing too much, wasn't paying attention to my form or nothing, and end up messing up my back. So now I'm having back pain. And yesterday my back pain was so bad I could not go live. But today I'm like, I gotta give my people what they want. And especially this week, we talking about being honest. So I had to come on here and be honest with myself that if I wasn't trying to go above and beyond and exercising and listen to my first instinct that said, stay right here, all right, and wait on my other equipment to come, I would be okay. I would not be having back pain today. But I did it, and so that's why we're here now today. All right. But nevertheless, I am here. So I hope y'all really work with me and y'all um like uh, um give me some little leeway for that. Uh, because yeah, I was like in pain, guys. So I was not coming on here with that. I wasn't. But no, I really want to come on here. And for anybody else, so if y'all don't know, I am giving a freebie away. If you would like the freebie, if you have somewhere to go and you've been liking what you've been hearing so far, simply feel free to comment clarity in the comments, and my royal assistant make sure she go ahead and respond and get that on over to you. All right. So, but let's go ahead. Let's get on to it and let's finish this out, because y'all really this is important. This is why a lot of people are confused. Okay. And this is why a lot of people think they don't have clarity, but really, you just not being honest with yourself about what you've been allowing. All right. What you've been allowing. All right. So now let's talk about what radical honesty looks like. All right. So I'm not disciplined right now. I'm not disciplined right now. That's what I'm tolerating what I complain about. So this is radical honesty. So when you being honest with yourself, you tell yourself, I'm not being disciplined right now. I'm not. I mean, it was a time where I had to tell myself that. I was everywhere. I was overextending myself, saying yes to everybody, everything, and every group and every corporation that came my way. I was saying yes, but in the end, guess what? I was scattered and nothing was happening on my end. Yes, I was helping out a lot of corporations, but when it came over here on this end, it was like nothing was getting done for S&B Sense, you know? And I had to switch that up. I had to get disciplined. Like, okay, you know what? At the end of the day, I have to make sure XYZ get done. At the end of the day, I can only speak this many times for these profits. At the end of the day, I am not a nonprofit. I am a for-profit, right? I have to get paid for certain things. So if they want me to do workshops, if they want me to do this, that's what they have to pay. I had to get disciplined. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs, especially if you're a new entrepreneur, you catch yourself being afraid to say that, afraid to say no, afraid to say, you know what, I've given enough. I've given enough. I'm not giving no more. Now I'm disciplined. I have rules implemented, right? So that's when you being honest with yourself. I had to be honest with myself. And also when you start being honest with yourself, you start telling yourself, I'm tolerating what I complain about. I'm tolerating that. Ain't nobody else tolerating what you complain about but you. Let me say that again. Ain't nobody else tolerating what you complain about but you. So most of us, we don't even realize that we complain, but I'm tolerating the things that I'm complaining about. I'm complaining about environments that I'm not comfortable in. Well, guess what? I'm tolerating it. I'm complaining about not having enough money. But guess what? I'm tolerating it. I'm complaining about certain people. But guess what? I tolerate it. See, like I said, most people, you don't need clarity. You need to be honest with yourself. Like, let's get real honest with yourself. If you was to be honest with yourself, would you be telling yourself any of these things? Because I know for me, that's what it was. That's just for me. I can't speak for anybody else. I just know for me. So I just want y'all to understand that this was for me what it was. It was like, okay, dang, okay, you know what? It's right. It was like, right. So with that being said, I had to understand that it was me. I was accepting the things. And a lot of entrepreneurs out there, that's why you ain't clear, because there's no clarity. Because if you was honest with yourself, you have to be honest about what you're accepting. And if you keep complaining, I need you to understand that you accepting the things that you complaining about. You tolerating it. Ain't nobody, your next door neighbor ain't tolerating it. Your kids ain't tolerating it. Your parents ain't tolerating it. Ain't nobody tolerating it but you. Think about that for a second. Ain't nobody tolerating it but you. You know? Because see, I even told him, I start telling myself, you know what? I'm afraid to outgrow this environment. That's why I keep staying here, because I'm afraid to outgrow it. It ain't nobody else, it's me. I'm afraid. I got comfortable with this environment. I like hanging with these people. I was loving going to the clubs. Like I was, you know what? That was just what I was comfortable doing. And when I got honest with it, I had to tell myself, this is what I'm comfortable doing. And I was afraid to outgrow it. How many of y'all was afraid to outgrow the things that you've been doing your whole life? Maybe it's a certain neighborhood you've been, in your whole life. Maybe it's certain people that you've been around your whole life and you're afraid to outgrow them. Because if you was honest with yourself, if you took that, once you take that leap, because you keep watching Queen A and you will, but once you take that leap, it's some people that you're going to outgrow. It's some things that you're going to outgrow. And guess what? It's some places that you're going to outgrow. And I can guarantee that right now, a lot of y'all don't have no clarity because y'all afraid to outgrow them things. If it's some people out there, somebody out there that understand what I'm saying, drop it in the comments and let me know that you understand what I'm saying. Because I know I ain't the only person that feel like this, that's been in this boat. I ain't. A lot of people are afraid to outgrow, Mm-mm. And a lot of y'all know what to do. You just haven't done it. Be honest with yourself. Because soon as you can say, you know what? I know what I need to do. I just ain't done it. Like, I definitely know what I need to do. And I just ain't done it yet. That's when the power come in. That's when the power come in. Because you named it. You put a name on it. You actually acknowledged it. So now that means if you can acknowledge it, you can change it. Let me say that again. If you can acknowledge it, you can change it. But if you can't acknowledge it, or you just keep acting like it don't exist and it's not there, then I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't looking too good for you changing it. See, before you change something, you have to acknowledge that it even exists for you to change it. Like you have to put a name on it. Like, you know what? That's fear. That's fear. You know what? That's that's self-doubt. You know what? That's failure, me feeling like a failure. You have to start putting names on these things so you can actually change it and overcome it. So you have to start putting name on it. All right. So let me ask y'all this. What truth have you been avoiding? I want y'all to think about that real hard for a second. And if you know, drop it in the comments. If you know what truth it is that you've been avoiding, drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. Because I'm telling you right now, if you ain't got no clarity, there's a truth that you are avoiding. We all have been there. I don't care who you are. Everybody has had a time in their life where they had to, like, you know what? Let me sit back and get clarity on these things so I can move forward. All right. Let me get clarity on what I'm avoiding. Let me get clarity on what I'm lacking on. Because a lot of us, we can get clarity. We have a lot of clarity on what's going on at the neighbor's house, what's going on down the street, what's going on in somebody else's family, maybe your own family. But then when it comes to your life, your household, it's crickets. It's crickets. My mama love when I say that. So I'm sorry. It's like crickets. All right. What decisions have you been, delaying? Ask yourself that. What decisions you delaying? Like, what standards do you have that needs to be raised? Do you even know? Do you even know? And more importantly, do you even have standards? See, a lot of new entrepreneurs and young entrepreneurs, and not even just that, even though I'm finding out even a lot of these corporations, that I'm dealing with, a lot of them think they have standards and they really truly don't when it gets down to the bottom line. There's no standards, So we have to raise them. Okay, well, if there's no standards, we need to implement them and find them. And if you have standards, we need to raise them, especially if there's no clarity there. Especially if there's a lot of a lot of confusion there. Especially if there's a lot of disarray there. That's what, I'm very great at. So start asking yourself these things, right? All right. I just want you to understand. So just type one word in the comments. All right. Just type one word in the comments and let me know. All right. Because I want y'all, and I always want y'all to engage. Because like I said, this is a clarity channel. We focus on what? The fact, not the feeling. I'm not a fictionary. Let me say that again. I'm not a fictionary. Queen A is far from a fictionary. So I ask that you take this channel with, like pride with yourself. Have pride in this channel. Do the things that's we are asking you to do on this channel. Because I can tell you keep listening all day. You can keep, getting motivated all day. But be honest with yourself. Are you taking steps? Let's be honest. Are you? I'm just saying, y'all. Because clarity, it don't come from overthinking. It comes from being truthful. You can't have clarity with confusion. Clarity and confusion, they don't go hand in hand. It's like water and oil. They don't mix. So if you have confusion, there is no clarity. If you have clarity, that means there's no confusion. There's little to none if you have clarity. Okay. And if you have clarity, there should be no confusion. That's what clarity is. Being able to process the information being given to you so you can what? Understand it and then deliver or act on whatever was asked or said. So we have to start being truthful with ourselves. It comes from being truthful with yourself, guys. I promise you it does. I promise you. When you start being honest with yourself, please listen to me. You're going to stop feeling so much emotional. You know how I say you have so many doors open in your head? You know how they say when one door closed, another one open? But y'all know Queen A teach that most of y'all can't focus or have clarity because you got too many doors open in your head. But when you start being honest with yourself, them doors start closing so you can start focusing on the ones that's needed for you to focus on. When you're honest, your next move becomes obvious. Okay? It becomes obvious because it's going to be aligned with your principles, values, and your goals. I want y'all to understand that. Like, this ain't no, like, clarity ain't something that's this magical thing that somebody waving with a wand. No, it's not. It's just being honest with yourself. It's just being honest with yourself. That's it. So I just want to tell y'all, if y'all serious about moving forward, if you serious, and I'm telling y'all, this is not for the people. If you ain't serious, then don't comment. Don't comment. Don't comment. Don't comment on what I'm about to say, okay? So if you're serious about moving forward, comment clarity and grab the clarity guide, right? It's totally free. Grab my clarity freebie, right? And use it to identify what needs to shift. So don't just listen tonight. Don't just listen, all right? I want you to decide tonight to elevate yourself. I want you to decide tonight to elevate yourself. To elevate yourself, not Queen A. So if you serious and you ready to move forward and you ready to get honest with yourself and dig deeper to even maybe you're having trouble even getting understanding on what you need to be honest about. Comment clarity. Comment clarity and I'll send you my clarity freebie. Okay? My clarity freebie. Now, before we move forward, if you love what you heard on here, and if you are somebody that's like, you know what, I'm in need of like clarity. I just need to have clarity in my life, or I just want to make sure that I'm continuing to have clarity in my life with all the drama and everything going on, with all the negativity out here. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel, okay? Because like I said, we focus on the facts over the feelings over here. I'm not a fictionary. I'm not a fictionary, and I don't pretend to be or act as one. All right. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you gained a little bit of clarity from this episode. If you did, drop it in the comments. Let me know what stood out the most to you. And if nobody else loves you, remember, Queen A does. And if you really want to get serious, comment clarity and grab my clarity freebie. It's freebie. What can you lose? Later. Mwah.